Everything homemade! Hey everyone, I'm Rita Peterson with Everything Homemade, and I'm going to show you how to sow your onion seeds inside, because if you don't, you won't have those nice big onions. I'd also like to mention that I am an author, and if you're interested in fiction books, then check out my books at the end of this video. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. All the links will be in the description box below. So the very first thing you need to sow your onions is obviously have something to sow them into. So I have a container here. Now when I do onions, I like to have a container that has depth. So this is about 4 inches in depth here in this container. The other thing is that I want a fair amount of space here. So we're 1 foot diameter on this particular container, and that works really well for starting my onions, so that way they have a chance for the roots to go down, so I don't have to transplant them so soon after they germinate. So the other thing you need is, I just have a container here for my seeds. My seeds have been ordered from Vesties. I will provide a link below. I am growing the North Star onion. I am in February right now, so I definitely want to do this in February, because if I don't, they won't be big enough. Onions take a little while to get going. Once they get going, they're fine, but they just take a little bit to germinate and get started. What we need to do is fill our container here with some dirt. Now I am just using normal soil mix, just for general plants, inside plants, and I really like starting any seeds in that, so that way they have all the nutrients they need to support life. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to water my soil here because it is a bit dry. Now what I do have in my watering can, this watering can has 5 drops of Thieves Essential Oil mix, and what that does is just kill any bacteria and any dampening off in my soil, because that is one of the greatest threats when you are working with seedlings, is dampening off. And this literally will solve all your issues, is some Thieves Essential Oil. Now I will include a link on how to make that essential oil blend in the description box below. So we are going to just water this until it's moist. You don't want it wringing wet, just till it's moist. I just got a little bit more here to go. Okay, so that's looking really good. So what I want to do is just even out my dirt now. If you see any sticks, just toss them out. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I'm just going to clean off my spoon here, and let's go on to the next step. So I have a container here. I'm just going to put it on top of my soil for a moment. And then I have my seed package. And I'm just going to cut open my seed package here. Okay, and spill them out. Now, onion seeds have this awesome black, they're awesome black looking seeds. They kind of remind me of little pieces of charcoal. So what you want to do is you want to take your spoon now, and I want to make little rows in my container, just so things are planted nice and neatly. So I'm just going to take the back, and you saw how those seeds weren't that big, and so I don't want to go too deep. The rule of thumb is to plant them twice the depth of the seed. So just go about 1/4 of an inch in the ground here. So I'm just going to make little lines. There we go. And onions transplant really easily. So if they're a bit squished together, I'm not really that concerned. They will stay in this pot probably till they're a month old, but they do transplant really easily, so there's no fret because you can split them if they're a little bit too close. No big deal. So it'll look something like that. You can see the rows here. So what I'm going to do is just take my seeds, and you won't probably see these seeds really well because we're going to be black on black, but I'm just going to take some in between my fingers, and I am just kind of going to drop them into my rows. And this way I will also know where I put my seeds, and so I can kind of judge where things should be germinating in my container as well. So now what you want to do is just place the dirt back over the row. You're just filling it in, and I'm pressing it down as I go, making sure that everything is firmly pressed around those seeds. So I start my onions in February. It is actually February 11th to be transplanted out into the garden in the middle to the end of May. So only because if you're starting them from seed, they really need those several months before you actually transplant them out. And I'm going to show you the care of them all the way to transplanting them into the garden. So you'll see step by step on how to do this. So now that I have my onion seed bed all ready in my container, I'm just going to take a quick glance over to see if I missed some seeds that maybe were at the top. And I do see some right there that didn't, for some reason, get in. So I'm just going to press them down and move the dirt a little bit. There we go. Looks pretty good. So the next thing you want to do is water them. Now what I like to do is I do a flicking method like this with my watering can. You can definitely use a spray bottle. I just like to give them a little shot of water. You don't want to make wells. You don't want to just hold your water can because that'll just make a big indentation and shove those seeds further into the soil. And they don't need much, just something like that. Okay, so the other thing is I'm going to be using some plastic wrap because I don't have a lid to this container. And what I'm going to do here is basically create a greenhouse effect. So you take some plastic wrap here once I find my end. And basically I'm going to go over it like this. And this will just help with me not having to water my container all the time, but it will also just naturally increase the humidity just a little bit for my onions. They don't need to be in a crazy warm room. These are onions, but they do like to be in a little bit higher humidity. So I'm just going to tape the ends of my plastic because otherwise my plastic won't stay nicely on my container here. And I'm just using painter's tape here to just secure my ends a little better. There we go. And if you've been watching my channel for a little bit, you've seen me do this last year when I showed how to start most of your garden plants. But this year I'm going to show you how to start some much earlier in the house than I did last year. So now while I am taping this down, you want to be asking yourself, okay, after these germinate, do I have a sunny window for my plants to grow for a few months before I need to put them outside and harden them off? So if you have a sunny window, that would be great. If you don't, you have to have some kind of grow lights to keep these from being very straggly and leggy. I'm using the Bloom Plus BP 1500 and BP 1000. I'll put links in the description box below for those grow lights. They are LED full spectrum lights and I love them. If you have any comments or questions about the grow lights, please ask me in the comments section. So there you have it. I have taped my plastic on top of my container and now it's literally a waiting game. So once mine germinate, I'll show you exactly what to do. So thanks so much for watching and I'll see you on the next video.